What's up guys, JP here. So I was asked to do a quick review of the Jeep after the lift kit. Let's go ahead and head on out to the Jeep and talk about a few things I've noticed. I've got about 250 miles of trails on it now. About 100 miles in, I rechecked all the torque on all the suspension components. Didn't find anything loose, but a few little issues here and there. So let's get right into it. All right, so got the Jeep. Still need to make some videos on the Jag. All right, so what I've noticed on the suspension thus far, and you could probably get right on in here and see it, I end up having to clearance my exhaust pipe by kind of smashing the exhaust down a little bit, just changing the shape. Obviously I'm not caving the exhaust in, so the volume of air is still the same, but I was having a loud banging, and it could be that I have bad motor mounts, but the exhaust pipe that comes down and under on the V8s did in fact hit quite a bit, and it started to rub all my coating off of the upper control arm on the long travel suspension. I also did notice, let's get under here in the back. Oh, right here, I end up having to notch this area because you can see the head of the bolt on the rear track bar, so I ended up having to cut my shield, and probably should have cut it more, but it is clearing now, it doesn't hit. But this was banging as well. Every time the suspension would travel downwards, it would get caught on the steel skid plate. Other than that, my cat's come apart. Have yet to have time to build an exhaust, but I don't know if you can see inside the cat, but my cat's just coming apart there, so I'm gonna end up needing to throw a new cat on it. I'm in Nevada, so I can use a 49 state legal universal one, so I'll probably just slap one on there. But yeah, let's talk a little more about how it handles. So a little bit more about how it handles. I'm only running 32s basically. Thing with these Jeeps is if you go too wide of a tire, you lose a lot of highwayability on it. So I'm running a 32. I think it looks good. It's plenty for what I want to do. I'm not a big rock crawler. Northern Nevada, we have a lot of desert trails. I mean, you might get some washed out ruts, a couple small rocks you need to drive over, but for the most part it's pretty solid. So I'm running 32s. I have yet to have to disconnect the front sway bar for anything I've driven over, but I can tell you the articulation of the suspension is amazing. I've been able to go through, I would say, a good solid 2 foot deep ruts, and the cab pretty much just stays dead center. The suspension reaches down into the hole. Other than that, besides the few little issues with suspension rubbing and my catalytic converter rattling like crazy, it's done really well. Like I said, I got about 250 miles on it so far, on trails. I need to wash it, it's filthy. But I haven't ran into anything I haven't been able to run across. I haven't noticed any binding in drive lines. I haven't noticed any well, I put on the extended brake lines, which is something you will have to do. So I have extended brake lines front and rear. But I haven't noticed any binding in the brake lines, any loss. One thing that I have noticed, and I haven't quite had the time to diagnose this, but every once in a while, could be air trapped in the ABS system since changing the brake lines, but every once in a while, ever since the lift kit was done, I do have ABS actuation on a slow stop. Um, Coming up to a stop sign, kind of rolling towards it at like 5-10 miles an hour. If I tap the brake, I feel my ABS pump engage for a split second, and then it's fine. If I come to a stop from 25-30 miles an hour and I brake a little harder, I don't have any ABS actuation, so I don't know if that has something to do with the bigger tires, air trapped in the system. I just haven't had the time to diagnose it, so nothing I'm concerned with. Like I said, it only does it every once in a while. Um, Other than that, the overall, with the 32s on it, the overall highway, still maintaining that front sway bar, getting rid of the rear sway bar. I've done 70-75 miles an hour in this thing without feeling like I was going to just fly off one side or the other of the highway. I do personally still need to change my gearbox. I do have some play in the gearbox, so I'm having to correct the steering here and there. But ultimately, I feel super confident with driving this thing up and down the highway, onto a trail, getting off a trail. So yeah, I hope that's good enough for you guys, and we'll see you next time.